Hey fam, this is your girl Shannon Jackson with Living Your Life Without Limits. I am so excited to bring you my topic today, celebrating safe sex. Stay tuned.
Wake up everybody, let's elevate your mind. Live your life without limits, no more wasting time. Don't forget to stay focused while continuing to stay on the grind. Keep your vision real tight, and your future be bright until the finish line.
Welcome, family. This is Shannon Jackson, your resident host from Living Your Life Without Limits. I am so excited about today's episode titled Celebrating Safe Sex. And I've brought some special guests with me to help me discuss this topic. First, our favorite therapist that has been on the show multiple times is none other than Dr. Shannon Chavez, where she will bring the knowledge and experience of sexual health and how using condoms safely can also be enjoyable at the same time. Then I wanted to get a male's perspective. So we have none other than Norris McCrutcheon III. All right, before we dive into today's topic, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, here we go. Thank you, honored guests, for being with me today. And happy early Valentine's Day. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this subject today is because actually I'm going to give a little background here. I used to work at the AIDS Health Foundation some years ago, and I used to do a contract with them. And one of the things that they do every year in the month of February, they do some theme month regarding the use of condoms because they want to promote having safe sex to prevent the spread of HIV and also pregnancy, but more so HIV. So with this being the Love Month, what better time, as well as the AIDS Health Foundation is also using this as their theme, but they're using a burlesque theme piece with this year. So I really wanted to make sure we talk about it because it is a very important subject. So first, I wanted to talk to you, Norris, by being a male and ask a question before we bring in our expertise from Dr. Shannon Chavez. So why is it that men do not like to wear condoms?
You know, that is definitely the million-dollar question. And to be totally honest with you, when you engage in something as beautiful as making love, you really want to experience your partner 100%. Mm-hmm. And we men, we think if there's a barrier there, I can't fully enjoy it like it was meant to be enjoyed. So probably the main reason why we kind of shy away from it, in my opinion.
Okay. I think that's fair because a lot of people don't want to wear them. Now, Dr. Chavez, you have many, many years in this area of expertise, and you've probably heard many stories, many reasons why. But can you also talk to us about how people can yet wear them, but yet enjoy the pleasure? Because I think Norris hit on something. The fact that many people don't want to wear them because they feel restricted. Give us some education on that.
Yes, I would say two of the biggest barriers I find with condom use are one, sizing, and then secondly, not knowing your options. There are a lot of different condoms on the market. So I think the first issue is getting the right size, because if it is too tight or not the right size, it's going to be uncomfortable during sex, and also it could fall off, it could break. So you want to make sure you have the right size. There are actually condom size guides that you can get online. And then also knowing the different types. There may be a certain material that feels better and also is easier to use. So I would say definitely shop around before deciding on a condom brand and see what you like best. A lot of it comes down to personal preference.
So interesting you said that. I thought I'd bring a little samples here to kind of we'll first talk to Norris about this, and then I'm going to have Dr. Chavez kind of chime in. So one of them actually is called Feel Everything, and it's called Elite Large. Now, obviously, you talked about sides, and I think there's a lot of taboo around sides where people may feel they're one sides and not necessarily that sides. But Norris, so here, this box says large and wider for a comfortable fit, Feel Everything. Now, as a person, obviously, I'm not a male purchasing them, and although females purchase them as well, to have them for their own protection, to, just in case somebody forgets something. But Feel Everything gives me the assumption that it's supposed to be somewhat natural. But this one is a non-latex, where this one, Trojan, is actually a latex brand. And this one says bare skin, and it's got a lubricant in them. So Norris, let me first ask you this question. Is there a difference in preference of style that you think that you have found? If I don't want to get too much personal, but that men tend to lean to, or you tend to have more enjoyment with, that will make it where a person may want to consider? Now, I just brought two different styles.
Great question. And to Dr. Chavez's point, finding the right condom is paramount. And I'm 51 and I've been experimenting for a while. And so in my younger years, I was introduced to the lifestyles, the one that everybody, purchases, would wear them, but it was totally the wrong condom for me, not knowing at the time that, oh, they have bigger condoms. And so then I found my beloved. I'm a man.
So I'm going to ship these to you.
I was just going to tell you, you described everything I need, and I never heard of that brand. So I'm going
to send them to you as a gift because I don't have no use for them. Okay.
But definitely size counts, because it doesn't feel good or it's tight or it's restricted. I can't perform in the manner that I'm accustomed to, which in turns into a very disastrous encounter, which nobody wants that, which is another reason why most men don't want to wear them. But yeah. And then, of course, I like to have condoms that have the spermicide, non-oxynol 9 in them, because, I'm not trying to get anyone pregnant. So that's like a double barrier for me to make sure we're both protected.
Very good. So Dr. Chavez, so I'm sure in your practice, you've kind of encountered, maybe differences or people struggling with, or maybe one partner wants or versus or not. How can you advise people around this subject matter? Or is there other things that they can do or use along with the condom to enhance the experience, to make it mutually satisfying, but yet safe? Because what we're talking about is safety. We're really talking about safety. As I said, this is the month that the AIDS Health Foundation really promotes pleasure, but yet safety, and it's to prevent the spread of HIV. And I also want to add other sexually transmitted disease, not just HIV. But I do know that it's something that not only men sometimes complain about, some women also don't want to have condoms used as well, because they may not necessarily feel. Can you help us with that, Dr. Chavez?
Yes, I think that people need to practice using condoms. So what I usually recommend is that both male and females use them during masturbation, because then you get used to putting it on. So if you're a male, you can put it on your own penis during masturbation, or for females, you can use it over a vibrator or sex toy. So it gets you used to using one in the moment, and it's not something that you're fumbling with in the moment with a partner. So I think that practice does help with comfort. Also, you get used to maybe a technique or trick you can use to put it on, so it's part of foreplay with a partner, rather than it being a moment of halting all that pleasure while you're, finding the condom or turning the lights on and all of these things happening. So I definitely recommend practicing and then finding condoms that work for you. I think that if couples can incorporate them into play, then it becomes something fun you can use and it doesn't have to feel awkward or uncomfortable. But I definitely think you should practice before you play.
I have to tell, this is why I love you on this show and talking about such a delicate subject. Talking about practicing, I never thought of it on that wise, to practice using condoms to get the comfort and kind of get what your flow and your rhythm with it. But as they say, practice does make perfect. So, but I never thought of it in the wise of practicing for a male or female in using condoms prior to actually engaging in the intimacy. So it's an excellent thing. What about condoms in addition to maybe a lubricant or something that would that give more of a natural feel or to it that people can feel a little bit more comfortable?
I definitely think a lubricant is important because sometimes latex can dry out or the material can dry out, especially with friction-based activities. So using a lubricant is important, but not too much lube where the condom comes off. Most condoms do have lubricant already in it, but you also want to make sure that it's not a lubricant that's going to cause irritation, and there can be allergens in lubricants. So always test it first before trying it out with a partner. So you want to make sure that you don't have a negative reaction using that lubricant.
So, Norris, just picking up on where the doctor was talking about, so what about in purchasing? Talk to me about that process. Does that bring uncomfortness or taboos, or when you get in the line, everybody's kind of feeling like, I know what you're getting ready to do, or giving you looks or anything like that? Because that can also make it be shy or uncomfort, or when you're sneaking in, or even for a female that may want to go and buy some because she wants to be careful in the process. Give me your thoughts on that, your experience.
Admit when I was younger, it was kind of taboo because, you shouldn't be having sex. At least we were taught you shouldn't be having sex before marriage. So it was kind of like sneaking. But as an adult, when I found out that Magnum was my condom of choice, then I was proud. And I would always find a female cashier because then she knew what time of day it was. So, that kind of helped my self-esteem in purchasing where I was.
Go on, Norris. So Norris would use his to play up the situation. Magnum, so she at the cashier like, hi, Norris.
Exactly.
Oh, that is very, very funny right there. That's very, very funny. So, Dr. Chavez, how would you help a person in a situation? If we talked about purchasing them, that can be a taboo, but how will we handle a situation where one partner, say they're just dating, they just started dating, or they are dating and they still maybe don't want children or kind of concerned, maybe they don't know if the other partner is having multiple partners. How do you address a situation when one partner wants to wear them and another partner doesn't? It can create conflict. Talk us through some ways we can handle that situation, because that has come up oftentimes where somebody wants to wear a condom and somebody doesn't want the condom to be used.
Right. And I think that can create a lot of conflict, but I think it comes down to your values. And if a partner is saying no to a condom and that's something you value, I think everyone should value safe sex and protection. I think that could be a deal breaker in a relationship. So I think that if it comes down to that conflict, I would avoid any activity until you can be on the same page around those values. I wouldn't feel pressure to go through with anything without using safe sex. It also implies that maybe this partner isn't being safe with other partners. So I think that you definitely want to have an agreement. It should be consensual. You should have an open discussion around it. And it may feel embarrassing at first because we don't normalize these conversations enough in our culture, but it's an important conversation. I would say have it as early as possible if you know you're going to be sexually active with a partner.
Well said. I like how you said about normalcy, because just still in sexual health, that's why I love when you come on the show. It is still an area that's very uncomfortable for people to have discussion on. And on Living Your Life Without Limits, that's also part of health and wellness, having sexual health and being healthy in your sexual thoughts, as well as your intentions around sex and your just overall wellness in the area of sexual health. So I appreciate you saying that, because I don't want anybody to feel that they have to be forced not to, because oftentimes, as I said, I used to work at the AIDS Health Foundation, and many times people would come in and they did have multiple partners, but the partner that they were with, they weren't always forthcoming to that partner saying that I have multiple partners, And so by using condoms and just like we're now wearing face masks as a precaution, it'll help guard everyone. So, Norris, as we're rounding this, have you personally had an experience where maybe you wanted to use one and you had, it was a deal breaker for you and another partner necessarily did not want? Do you want to share that, or how that ended for you, or were you okay with that, or maybe some feedback on that?
I've had several encounters, like that, and it does cause friction. And as I got older, wearing condoms is like, yes. And when a person does not want to wear a condom or, want me to use a condom, then I instantly go to not necessarily a good thought, because either they're trying to give me something or they don't care enough about themselves, which is something I can't trust because I love myself more than this 15 minutes of fun I'm about to have. And so that is a deal breaker for me. I don't believe in, well, come on, it's one time. No, my life is more important than that. And that's something that I had to realize. And hopefully everyone will come to that juncture in their life to know that they are the most important person, and no 5 or 10 minutes worth of pleasure is worth sacrificing.
Excellent. So as we're closing this out, Dr. Chavez, I want to turn to you on what's a final thought on celebrating safe sex that you want to leave with the viewers. If they were to hold on to one thing, what would you love for them to get from this episode today?
Safe sex is this form of sexiness. It's a sign of confidence and feeling empowered around your sexuality. It doesn't have to be embarrassing. We need to get over the stigma around safe sex and education. And that's why we're doing this show tonight. We want to educate people. So if you don't feel comfortable, ask questions, get information from others. There are a lot of sexual health clinics around that provide information on how to use different barriers. So definitely find those resources so you can become empowered and be safer with yourself and with other partners.
Excellent. Well said. Well, once again, I want to thank my esteemed guests that are here today. Dr. Shannon Chavez, who always brings us wonderful knowledge in the area of sexual health. And also my special guest today, Norris, who has been with us to give us the male perspective, reality, and how it impacts men, and being very authentic in his truth and around this very important subject. And thanking you, the viewers, for joining in with us, and the listeners. And I want to thank you, all of you that have got us at 10,000 subscribers and growing after 1 year. Thank you so much for rolling with Living Your Life Without Limits. Remember to not only love yourself and take care of yourself, because guess what? You are absolutely worth it. And from this day forward, however you may have thought about the subject of condoms, where you felt insecure or uncomfortable, or you know what, I just need to feel raw. Think differently and think about safe sex. Because not only are you caring for your life, but you're caring for the life of someone else. Join us again next week, and remember to take care of living your life without limits.